I have your next read that is going to make you cry. If Tomorrow Never Comes by Allison Ashley. I gave this one 4 stars and 1 on the spice meter. Some of the things you can come to expect in this book is more of a second chance romance. It does have a cancer and cancer related things like cancer recovery. So if you are someone who's gone through that, or if this is something that someone close to you is going through or has gone through, please just go ahead and check the trigger warnings or whatnot before you begin this book, because your mental health is of the utmost importance to me, as well as a soulmate type connection and angst. So here is some of my thoughts on this book. This book is so flipping heart-wrenching and angsty, but if you are somebody who is iffy whether or not you want to read this or not, need to know whether it has an HEA or not, or if you're somebody who's like, I don't want to know that because I do want to read it, but if you're somebody who's like, hey, I don't want to read this if it does not have an HEA, so you're curious, go ahead and head over to my Goodreads, because I do answer that question in my Goodreads review. You can find my Goodreads in my link tree if you are really seriously curious and you really want to read this book, but you're like, I need to know if it does not have an HEA, I'm not reading it. So I don't want to give away spoilers. You know, my reviews on here are always spoiler free, and some people do consider that a spoiler. So I'm going to say, head to my Goodreads if you need to know that question. But if you don't want to know the answer to that, that's fine. But if you are somebody who's like, hey, I really want to check this book out, but yeah, so just go ahead and follow my link tree and go to my Goodreads, and I answer that question on my review there. So, but I don't want to answer it here. Sorry if making that work hard, but I really don't want to give away spoilers on my reviews. That's just not who I am, guys. You know, all my reviews are spoiler free. Anyways, moving on from that. With a romance story involving cancer, you kind of expect your heart to be ripped out. But I'm going to tell you, this one has so many ups and downs. It does get to a point in the story that I'm like, oh my gosh, there's going to be rainbows and there's going to be sunshine and everything's going to work out. And my heart got ripped out. It got stomped on. And it's not even going to be for the reason you think. Like, it's not. And I was just like, this is why. This is why. And so... And then you're like, another things start happening and you're like, woohoo, rainbows and sunshine is going to happen again. Things are going to start working out. And then like, it's still angsty and you're like, and your heart's still on the floor bleeding. And you're just like, this book just has so much, like you're all in your feels throughout this entire book. I'm just going to tell you right now, you are in your feels. This book is an emotional roller coaster throughout the entire thing. Like, that is just the best way for me to describe this book. To me, it does move at a pretty steady pace. It's not a super fast-paced book, but it's not a slow-paced book either. It's just pretty steady. And with that steady, you're just on that little roller coaster of emotions as well. It is a fade to black spice book. So I do want to say that, because if you are somebody who is interested in a super spicy book, then just know that this one is a fade to black spice. Or if you were somebody who does not like spice, then this one would be one for you, because this one is a fade to black spice. I think my favorite thing about this book, though, other than the fact it's angsty and we know that I love angst, is that it has a very star-crossed lovers feel to it. Without giving away spoilers, I just want to say that the book has a very star-crossed lovers type feel. And it's not an instant love, but even though I said it has like a soulmate type feel to it, it is not an insta love type feel, but it still has like something kind of like going there, and it does still have necessarily that slow burn feel, but yet it's not. That's why I said it's I don't even really, that's how to like even classify the romance in a way, because it is just very, very like star-crossed lovers type feel going on in this one. And that's why I said it just really messes with your emotions and your heart, and that's just when I keep telling you, just a roller coaster. Overall, I really enjoy this book, and I really think that if you are somebody who loves emotional books and you can handle the more emotional aspects, and like the whole cancer aspect of it does not bother you, and you are somebody who's okay with that and it's not something that you've recently gone through, then I definitely would suggest checking this one out. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a quick overview of this book. It is a contemporary romance, so you can decide whether you want to read this one or not. Elliot and James meet the night before a medical procedure that can determine Elliot's fate. Elliot, not wanting to risk heartache, leaves everything a mystery with James, including even her own name. A year later, Elliot moves closer to the hospital that she had her procedure at to start her new life and for convenience. While there, Elliot gets to meet the woman who saved her life. She just never imagined also get to meet the man who stole her heart 2. This was a heartbreaking romance that enchants you from the very beginning. I loved this one, and I think you just might too.